Hi, today we are going to discuss about HTTP response code. HTTP response codes are classified into 5 categories, each representing a specific type of a response from the server to the client. The first kind of different responses are informational response. So this code is given between 100 to 199. This code indicate that server has received the request and it is continuing the process. For example, 100 is a code which represents to continue the process. So next, successful responses. So basically, if a particular page has successfully completed its request and it is between 200 to 299. So for example, 200 means it is okay. So that particular program request is successfully delivered. So next, redirection message. The redirection message is given between 300 to 399. This code indicate that further action is needed to complete that request, usually through a redirection. For example, 301. So it is a mode permanently. For example, sometimes you will be redirected from one particular website to another particular website. At that time, you will be using this redirection messages. So next, fourth one is client error responses. So these are classified between 400 to 499. These codes indicate that a request was invalid or there was an error in a request sent by the client. So here 404, it indicates the particular server was not found or the request sent by the client is unsuccessful. So next, fifth one, server error responses. So it is between 500 to 599. This code indicates that a server encountered an error while processing the request. Example, 500 internal server error. So this is caused due to internal server error. Next concept is callbacks. Callbacks are a fundamental concept in JavaScript. It enabling asynchronous programming by allowing a function to be executed once a certain event or task completes. For example, if you are going to consider a mouse events or keyboard events, so in that one you are going to use a submit button in a form, so that if you are going to click a submit button in a form, what will happen? The particular form will be submitted into the database. So such a things will be treated in the asynchronous programming. So for that purpose we are using a callback. A callback is simply a function passed to another function which will be executed at a later time. It means you are going to click a function, so that function is going to perform an action. So based upon the event, you may be clicking a mouse event or keyboard event or after a delay. Here event handling with callbacks. So how you are going to handle the event handle with the callback? For example, here you are going to use a document get element by id button. So here you are using a id name is button. So event listener. So here we are going to add the event listener click. Click is a function. So where we are using a arrow function which is defined in the JavaScript. So this means the item is clicked. So here you can able to write some particular content whether the item is clicked. The callback function returns when the button is clicked. The function is passed as an argument to the action listener, and JavaScript waits for the event to trigger it. For example, page load event. So page load event means it is going to take some time to load the event. Here you have defined the window.add event listener load. So load is a particular thing where you want to load a particular page. So this particular function which you have given inside the arrow function, so what window you want to perform. So for example, alert, or you want to use a prompt. So what kind of messages you want to ensure that the function runs only after the page has fully loaded, preventing the issues where elements are not accessible before the page is ready. Next, timers with callback. For example, you can able to set the timers. Here, set timeout. So for example, if you are going to interact with the sessions, for example, if you are using a YONO SBI, if you are inactive in that particular session, So what will happen after 30 seconds you are inactive or something, you are not using any event, then page will be timeout. So here timeout will be done after 2000 milliseconds. It means after 2 seconds it will be timeout. So next one, XHR request and callbacks. So what is XHR? XHR stands for XML HTTP request. It is an application interface program in JavaScript that allows you to interact with the servers to exchange the data without requiring a page reload. This enables to create a dynamic and interactive web application, often referred to as AJAX. Basically, AJAX is called asynchronous JavaScript XML. Whenever you are going to use this one, you can able to have a interactive web applications, so that you can able to work with the databases interactively. Here you are having an example syntax where you are going to use this particular example. Here we have given a constant XHR, so where you are going to send the XML HTTP request. Here you have defined the object new XML HTTP request. You are sending a new HTTP request. Now by using the object XHR on ready state change. So here you are going to change the state by the implication function, or you are using a arrow function. So within this one, what you are using? You are using a condition. If XHR is ready state which is equal to 4, then it is going to return the XHR status 200. So this is going to return the console.log response text, whatever the response text will be delivered. So here you are using a ternary operator. So here if XHR.status is true, so then this particular thing will be executed. In this one will be printed in the console.log. Else, here we are using a else part as a colon, console.error, so it is going to print an error. So finally, whatever the site you have mentioned by the get, basically that will be working with by using a do get and do post. We are going to interact with that particular session. So here you can able to specify whatever the site you want to reach, you can able to use that particular site name. So for that you are going to use a package node fetch. So it will take time in order to install. So later that we will try to run this particular program. So next, error handling with callbacks. So basically we are going to use a Node.js. It uses the error first callbacks, where the first argument is reserved for the error object, allowing you to handle errors in a consistent manner. For example, here you are using a constant fs, so where fs is a file system, so it requires the particular package node.fs, node followed by colon ws fs. Callbacks. Error handling with callbacks. Node.js requires error first callbacks, where the first argument is reserved for error object, allowing you to handle errors in a consistent manner. So here we are having a node.fs where it is going to handle the errors in the consistent manner. So here we are going to use a read file. So we are going to read the file. The file should be in the file name .json format. So here we are using a two arguments, error and the data, where error is a particular reserved one. So where we are using a data as a second argument. If error is encountered, so then we are using a console.log error. So it is going to return the error. So then it is going to print the console.log whatever the data is there. Callback hell problem. One drawback of a callbacks is they can lead to deeply nested code, often called callback hell. In scenarios where multiple callbacks are required to code becomes harder to read and maintain. So where if you are using this particular callback, so it will be in the nested code, so that may cause the problem. So due to multiple callbacks are required. Here we are using a window listener load, where it is going to invoke the button event document.getElement by button. So wherever the user has clicked the button, so if user has clicked the button, it is going to use a, here you have used one function load, and here you have used another function click, here you have used another function timeout, and again you have used a loop. For each loop item you are going to write the code, and here again what you have given, timing code you have given 2 seconds. So for every 2 seconds you have to iterate each and everything. To improve upon the promises, we have to use the asynchronous and await events, where it is introduced in the JavaScript to avoid the callback hell by making asynchronous code more readable and easier to manage. Next concept is read eval print loop in Node.js. Basically, we are going to use a read evaluate print loop in order to have an interactive environment that allows you to experiment with the JavaScript code and execute it line by line. It is a valuable tool for quick experimentation, debugging, and learning. How read evaluation print loop works. First one is read. You can able to read the input from the user and evaluate. You can able to evaluate the expression, or you can able to have a mathematical calculation similar to JavaScript code. Print. It prints the result. And loop. You can able to have a iterative approach to print a particular thing to be iterated, so that you can able to repeat the code. The first one is starting read evaluation print loop. To use this one, you have to type Node.js space REPL. Then you have to open the terminal. This is going to start the basic commands, and you have to type the node. Then it is going to show the greater than symbol, which is going to allow to execute the mathematical calculations. For example, 2 plus 2, which is going to result 4, and hello is a string, and world is another string, where you are using a concatenate, and you can able to perform the string operation. Otherwise, you can able to declare a variables, let a equal to 5 and let b equal to 10, and the resultant will be shown 15. And you can able to use a functions, where you can able to use a greet name, where name will be sent as an argument and return hello name. Hello will be appended to the name which you have sent. For example, if you are going to greet Alice, then it is going to show hello Alice. Let us try to execute this particular program. Now whenever we have typed node, it has shown that one, and I am typing 2 plus 2, which has result 4, and let us use this particular concatenation hello next word, and it has concatenated, and the result is shown hello world, and we will declare let a equal to 5, a plus b. Now it has shown output a plus b, which is 11. By this you can like that you can able to evaluate the expression. Next, creating a function. Now I am going to paste the function. Now it has shown undefined. What we need to do? Greet Alice. Now it has added hello Alice. For example, if I am going to give Pradeep, now it has appended hello Pradeep. Like that you can able to use a read evaluation loop. Sometimes error will be encountered while using the npm. At that time, so there are a certain kind of execution policy you need to use. For example, if you want to run npm-v, so version, if a version was not given in the PowerShell, so what you need to do is you need to execute the policy. Basically, You need to follow these particular steps. The first step is open the PowerShell as administrator, check the current execution policy and get the execution policy and change the execution policy. These are the steps you need to perform. In order to set the execution policy, you can able to set the execution policy under the current user or remotely signed user. Remote signed allows locally to create the script and run on the network, and you need to make it as a trusted publisher in order to run in the network. You can also use unrestricted, but it is less secure. If you are changing the policy means you have to run the command again, so run npm-v, so that you can able to get the execution policy. So here we are having a screenshot how to use the execution policy. In PowerShell, what I have typed is npm-v. This particular -v, the version was not shown at the time. What you need to do is you have to get the execution policy. Get execution policy. Whenever get execution policy is showing restricted, it means due to the security reason it is showing, then you have to allow the execution policy. In order to allow the execution policy, you have to use a set execution policy underscore hyphen scope current user hyphen execution policy remote sign. You have to type this one, and now the policy has been changed. Next, if you are typing npm-v, then it is showing the version, which particular current version you are using. For security reason, what you need to do, you have to set the execution policy restricted again. It means you have to set this particular policy revert back. For that, what you have to do, set execution policy scope current user execution policy remote sign. Before you have used a remote sign, but what you are doing restricted, because after the usage user have to use a restricted, because you have to contact your system administrator for the assistance if you are using this particular one in corporate companies. Next, you can able to use this kind of function. As we have seen, greet is a function which we have returned hello followed by Pradeep. Hello is a greet message where you have used. Similarly, you can able to add the particular sum of two numbers. Using REPL, you can use the access modules. For example, here you are having a different modules. Here the module are, we are using a file system. If you want to work with the file system, you have to use the module fs. Constant fs equal to require fs. What particular file system is required, you can able to use. Here you are using a file system, read file synchronization. Now the name of the file is example.txt and the encoding is UTF-8. Basically, we are using a UTF-8 encoding format whenever you are going to connect with this particular modules. Now here we are using a HTTP module, constant require HTTP. So next, here we are using the constant server request and response. We are creating a HTTP server request and response, and here we are going to work with the particular kind of error codes. We are having a 100, 200, 300. Everything is different from 99. Content text content type is plain, and here we are going to use a hello from Node.js REPL. And whenever you are going to type server.listen from the particular port 3000, every 3 seconds it is going to get the request and a response from this. So whenever you are going to press the Control C, you can able to exit from the REPL. Like that, you can able to work from this particular module. So next, we are going to use this particular one. Now what we are using, server listen port number 3000. So now it has shown maximum header size, HTTP parser, request timeout, header timeout, keep alert timeout. So next connection checking and require header and everything as shown here, because due to this particular request and response it has shown. Next, advantages of using a read eval print loop. The advantages are quick prototyping. You can able to test a small code snippets instantly without creating a full project or script. Debugging, you can quickly test individual pieces of code to identify bugs or explore solutions. Learning, it is an excellent tool for learning JavaScript and Node.js since it gives the immediate feedback. Example workflow of read eval print loop. So already we have seen this kind of example. Let x equal to 10, let y equal to 10, x into y, which is going to result to 200. Next, testing modules. You can able to test the modules, and you can able to check the particular operating system type and require OS, where it can able to result the OS platform, which particular OS platform you are using, that one will be resulting. For example, if you are going to see this one, here I am going to type this particular statement. Now it has shown the platform Windows 32, because Node.js is the 32-bit version which is running. It has shown platform is Windows 32. Next concept is Node.js promises. Node.js promises are used to handle asynchronous operations such as reading files, querying databases, or making HTTP requests. Promises help to avoid callback hell, nested callbacks. So we have seen nested hell callbacks, and make asynchronous code more readable and manageable. States of promise. First one is pending. It is the initial state are neither fulfilled or rejected. Fulfilled, the operation completed successfully resulting in a value. Rejected, the operation failed resulting in error. Next, promise methods, then unfulfilled, unrejected. Unfulfilled or unrejected runs when the promise is fulfilled or rejected. Dot catch, unrejected, runs on promise is rejected. Finally executes the promise is settled. Chaining, the promises can be changed to handle multiple asynchronous operations in sequence, making code more readable. Node.js has a built-in file system module, and many of asynchronous methods now return promises when used with file system promises. For example, if you are going to consider this particular constant file system require file system promises, it means it is going to invoke the asynchronous method of a file system. And now here we are using a async function read file. Here if you are noticing, here we are using a async before the any function we are using. We are using a exception handling code try. We are going to keep the risky code inside the try block. Let data await file read. The file which we are trying to read is example.txt. It should be in the UTF-8 format. UTF-8 is one of the encoding file. Console.log data. It is going to print the data among the file. If the file is not found, it is going to prompt an error. So next, console.log, it is going to print the error in reading a file message. What kind of error is specified, that will be printing the error code. Here we are going to call the function read file. Now I have executed this particular program. So here what I have done, I have created an example file. Hi, hello, how are you is the particular text which I have saved, and now I have executed this particular program. And here what I am doing, I am trying to read a file. The name of the file is a read file, node space read file.js, and now it has displayed hi, hello, how are you. And if you want to modify the particular text, and I will be typing Pradeep, and I have saved the file, and now once again I have executed and it has shown the message. Here we are having another example. First one is let promise equal to new promise, and it is using a two parameter. First one is a resolve and the next one is a reject. If this particular thing is success, which is boolean operation is true, so then it is going to print a message operation success, else it is going to show the reject operation is wrong. First parameter is a resolve and the next parameter is reject. Now here we are using a promise. So if the operation is successful, and here we are using this particular code, if it was unsuccessful, it is going to show something is wrong. Here we are using a catch, so here we are using a then. If you are noticing, here before we are having a dot before a then and a catch. Now it has shown operation is successful. Next, chaining the promises. You can able to chain the promises whenever you are having a multiple promises. For example, step 1 is completed, and next step 2 is completed, next step 3 is completed. So if any error is there, so this particular thing will be completed. If you can able to see, we are using a then for first one, then for second one, and then for third one. So here it is similar to your switch case, but anything will be executed whatever the number we have given. Either you can able to resolve or you can able to reject. And now here it is going to show the message resolve step 1 is completed. Whatever the parameter you have sent as a message, and it is going to return step 2 is completed and step 3 is completed, and so on. Based upon the message, whatever the thing you have given, this particular thing will be executed. Promise to.js, and it has shown step 1, step 2, step 3 has completed, because how many thens we have used? 1, 2 and 3. So 3 now it is going to show the message step 1 completed, step 2 has completed, and it is going to return the message. For first one, it is going to show message resolve step 1 completed. From step 2 and step 3 onwards, it is going to return the message to the console log, and it has given a step 3 has completed. Next, async and wait. Here we are having using a asynchronous function example, and we are using a exception handling code try and catch, and we are going to let the particular parameter result await promise, and we are going to print the console.log result. It is going to show either operation was a success or a failure whenever you are going to call this particular example. Next, handling multiple promises. You can able to handle multiple promises by using a promise all, raise, promise all settled, promise any, and here you can able to specify the promise. So three promises: resolve, alone, resolve and reject, or you can able to set the parameter 42 as a particular value. Next, here promise all is going to accept the three parameters. Now we are using a then values. Then here we are using a arrow function console.log values, where it is going to print the values 3, and here we are using a 42, and promise 2, where it is going to if a particular timeout, and it is going to result the who. Like that, if any exception has arisen, and it is going to generate the error. Here we are having an example of multiple promises, where we have seen, and we are going to create a program. Promise 3. We are using asynchronous promise in order to override the text in a file name. Now from where we are going to take the file name is example.txt is the file name, and this one we are going to check in the exception handling code try, await for the file, right? So file name, data, whatever the data is there, if data is successfully returned to the file, and it is going to print the message, otherwise error. In this particular asynchronous file, read file, and it is going to read the particular file data from the file, and it is going to print the data. Now what we are writing into the file, hello, this is some text data. This particular data, whatever the string we have given, that one will be written to the file. Await write file data to the file name, data to write. Data to write is a particular constant which given text to be written into the file, and now we are going to read from the file. Await read data from file name, and we are going to call the function main. Whenever main function is called, then it is going to invoke this particular operation. So here we are having a main function, and it is going to invoke operation. If any error is encountered, and catch is going to catch the error. So here for this particular program, you need to import the file system promises. Next, here I am going to copy the program, and here we are going to return the main, and we are going to execute the program. Now it has extracted data has been written to the file. Data has read from the file. Hello, this is some text data. Previously, this particular text was there in example file.txt. So I am going to reopen the particular file, and here now the text has been replaced by this particular program. What we have given in this program,